Moving into that apartment as a single woman at 28 felt like hitting the reset button. I bailed on my hometown, dead set on finding my own space. I had my college degree and a decent amount of optimism, so I was ready. The building itself was kind of imposing, all old brick with a rusty, rickety fire escape. It had this old-school vibe I liked. Getting used to the place took a minute. The floorboards creaked like crazy under my feet. The air had this feeling about it, like anything could happen. The first night, I was unpacking, and the wind outside was going nuts, rattling the windows like it was trying to get a message across. I couldn't sleep. Shadows from the streetlights danced all over the walls, making it feel weird. It was so still, almost heavy, like something was watching me. Finally, I drifted off, but it didn't last. I woke up to this faint rustling sound coming from under my bed. I tried to convince myself it was just the building settling, but something felt off. When I got up to check, the darkness seemed to press in on me. I peeked over the side of the bed, but all I saw was dust. By morning, the rattling was a distant memory, but that feeling of unease stuck around. I wasn't so sure about the new place. Days went by, and that weird feeling wouldn't shake. I saw other people in the building, neighbors who seemed nice enough, but the vibes still weren't there. It felt like something was lurking in the shadows, wrapping itself around all of us. Then one night the rustling came back, louder this time, almost like it was calling to me. My heart sped up. I wanted to run, but I had to know what was going on. I crept to the edge of the bed, listening to the sound coming from below. It felt like a tunnel leading to something scary. With shaky hands, I leaned down to look. The dark space seemed alive. All of a sudden, a cold gust of air swept through the room, and the hair on my arms stood up. "Hello?" I whispered, barely making a sound. Then, I felt a soft breath coming back at me from below. I jumped back, my heart pounding. The next day, I asked my neighbor, Miss Patel, if she'd ever experienced something strange. She was an older, sweet woman who'd been living there for ages. When I told her about the whispers, her face changed. "There are stories, dear," she said, wringing her hands, "about spirits who linger here." I tried to brush it off, but her worried look stuck with me. That night, I grabbed a flashlight, trying to push back whatever was lurking in the dark. The next week was filled with sleepless nights, but soon enough I wasn't scared when I heard the faint rustlings in the building at night. I knew it was not the building that does it, but something else for sure. I started recording the noises. Then weird marks started appearing on my floor, some of them looking like symbols. It drove me crazy trying to figure them out. I knew they were not my creation for sure. I had spent all my time in the company. One symbol felt like a warning to stay away from the darkness under my bed. One rainy evening, I had had enough. I was tired of the whispers trying to pull me into whatever was hiding under my bed. Remembering Miss Patel's words, I worked up my nerve, knelt by my bed, and just yelled into the shadows, demanding to know what they wanted. The air turned ice cold, and a voice whispered back a name that made my blood run cold. The shadows swayed like they were reaching for me. I gripped my flashlight and aimed it into the darkness. I caught a glimpse of a twisted face, paint peeling off like old skin. I freaked out and scrambled back. Eventually, I found out about a girl who used to live in my apartment. She disappeared under strange circumstances. My heart sank as I realized the whispers and noises were real. They were pieces of a story that wanted to be told. Heart pounding, I went back to bed. The air grew heavy, and a dark, claw-like hand reached out. I felt coldness all around me. "Help me," it whispered, and my heart twisted in pain. I leaned in closer, wanting to understand the voice that took my breath away. I decided to write a letter to whatever was under my bed. I poured all my thoughts into it, hoping to bring some kind of resolution. Once I put the letter on the floor, the room went completely silent. The shadows shifted, creating an energetic buzz in the air. I lay back, closing my eyes, ready for whatever was coming next. Suddenly, I was overwhelmed by feelings, grief, anger, and a kind of acceptance. The whispers softened, now filled with peace. I felt warm, like I was being hugged. When I finally opened my eyes, the darkness under my bed was gone. So was the lost spirit and my fear. I realized that facing the unknown can lead to important truths. What mattered wasn't what was under my bed, but the strength and understanding we need to care for even the darkest parts of ourselves.